It is Week 15 in the NFL. We get some Saturday action this week. 2 games on tap for Saturday. Let's go ahead and quickly talk about both of those, as well as a few of Sunday's featured matchups. Why don't we start in Detroit, where the Lions will host the Chicago Bears on Saturday afternoon. Detroit's a 4.5-point favorite at BetSafe, 43.5 the total in this one. The Lions at 7-6, still alive in the playoff race. The Bears at 4-9 have been out of it for quite a while, but Chicago's still playing hard for John Fox, coming off a big win over the Cincinnati Bengals. These teams met just 4 weeks ago in Chicago, Lions winning that one 27-24. But the Detroit defense did not play well in that game. They surrendered 222 rushing yards to this Chicago offense. Since then, however, over the last 3 weeks, the Lions have shorted up a bit on the defensive side of the ball. They played well last week, holding a pretty good Tampa Bay offense in check. Detroit winning that game 24-21. They get another shot at this Bears offense here that is just not very good at all. Chicago, 30th in the NFL in total offense, 29th in points scored. The average just 17.2 points per game. But the Bears are pretty good defensively, top half of the league in both yards allowed and points allowed, and they're facing a Lions offense here that really banged up on the O-line. TJ Lang, Travis Swanson, and Rick Wagner all missing practice this week. Not sure if they're going to play. We'll have to keep our eye on Friday's injury report. I just think the total here, 43.5, feels a bit high. Again, I know these teams went over that total the last time they've played, but the Chicago offense not very good. I don't think we can expect them to rush for 222 yards again. And as we mentioned, the Lions banged up on the O-line. I think the Bears defense might be able to hold them in check. So under 43.5, my recommendation in this one. Moving on now to Saturday night in Kansas City, where the Chiefs will host their division rival LA Chargers. Chargers a slim 1.5-point favorite at BetSafe, 46.5 the total here. Now this is a big game. Both these teams 7-6, tied atop the AFC West. I've been saying for quite a while that I believe the Chargers might be the NFL's most underrated team. That might not be true anymore because I'm not sure they're underrated. They've won 4 straight games. A lot of people starting to come around on this Chargers team. Very good on both sides of the ball. 5th in the NFL in total offense. 10th in total defense, but 2nd in points allowed, surrendering just 17.3 points per game. Got a couple of really good young pass rushers, an excellent secondary. They're going to make life difficult for Alex Smith and this Kansas City offense. Now, the Chiefs did beat Oakland last week, but prior to that, they had lost 4 straight games. They are really struggling on defense. Kansas City, 28th in the NFL in yards allowed and 28th against the pass. Now, they did beat the Chargers 24-10 back in Week 3, but that was a different Kansas City team. Remember, Kansas City started the season 5-0, and they were outgained by the Chargers in that game. It was really 3 Chargers turnovers that was the difference. The road team in this rivalry, 5-0 against the number the last 5 meetings. I have a feeling that trend might continue here. I feel the Chargers just better than the Chiefs at this point. I think they get the win. I like them on the money line at 191. Moving on now to Carolina, where the Panthers will host the Green Bay Packers. Panthers a 6-point favorite at BetSafe, 44.5 the total here. Big news here, of course, the return of Aaron Rodgers. The Packers have somehow managed to keep things somewhat afloat in Rodgers' absence. They're still alive at 7-6. Carolina, meanwhile, at 9-4. This is a very important game for both teams. Look, it's very tempting here to back the Packers as a 6-point underdog with Aaron Rodgers making his return to the lineup. I'm just not sure that's the right play. I don't think this is a great matchup for Green Bay. The Green Bay defense has been struggling all season, 26th in the NFL in yards allowed. Last week, they got run all over by Isaiah Crowell of the Browns. Crowell finishing the game with 121 yards on just 19 carries. And we know Carolina, they like to pound the football, run it right at you. 5th in the NFL in rushing offense, averaging 134.5 yards per game. So look, I think the Panthers are going to be able to do what they want to do against this Green Bay defense. And you look at the other side of the ball, Carolina, 5th in the league in total defense. I know Rodgers, as good as there is in the NFL, but he's got to be a little rusty, having sat on the bench for these last several weeks, nursing that broken collarbone. Panthers have won 5 of their last 6 games, coming off that great 31-24 win over the red-hot Minnesota Vikings. As I said, I think this is just a tough spot for the Packers. I think the Panthers win this game and cover the 6-point number. Moving on now to Pittsburgh, where the Steelers will host the New England Patriots in what is probably the game of the week. The Patriots a 3.5-point favorite at BetSafe, 52.5 the total in this one. Now the Steelers 11-2, the Patriots 10-3 after that shocking loss to Miami last week. So this game could end up being for the #1 seed in the AFC playoffs. Steelers have won 8 straight, but lately it's been a little iffy. They've squeaked by some less than stellar opposition here lately. You have to be concerned about this Pittsburgh defense. All season, they were a top 5 unit. Now they're without their best player, Ryan Shazier. They could not stop the Baltimore Ravens last week. And as a matter of fact, you look at their last 3 games, the Steelers have allowed 86 combined points in their last 3 games. That's despite facing Green Bay without Aaron Rodgers, Cincinnati, and Baltimore. Not exactly a murderer's row of offenses. Now they'll face Tom Brady, and Tom Brady has absolutely shredded Mike Tomlin's Pittsburgh Steelers over the last couple of years. In his last 6 games against Tomlin's Steelers, Brady has thrown for 1,889 yards. That's 314.8 yards per game, 19 touchdown passes, and 0 interceptions. I mean, what else can you say about Tom Brady and what he's done against this Pittsburgh defense? But, you know, there's reason to be concerned about the New England defense here. The Patriots, 29th in the NFL against the pass. Only 3 teams allowing more passing yards than this New England defense. And we know all about this Pittsburgh offense, 2nd in the NFL in pass yards per game, behind only the Patriots, by the way. The Steelers, 133 combined points in their last 4 games. So look, they can score. New England can score. Both these teams struggling a little bit on defense right now. I know 52.5 is a pretty big total. I do not think it's big enough. I think this is going to be a back and forth, exciting, high-scoring game. Over 52.5, my recommendation. Final game I'd like to talk about in this Week 15. What about Sunday night in Oakland, where the Raiders will host the Dallas Cowboys? Cowboys a 3.5-point favorite at BetSafe, 45.5 the total here. This is a must-win game for both of these teams if they harbor any hopes of the postseason. Dallas at 7-6, Oakland at 6-7. The Cowboys have won 2 straight. They were blown out in 3 straight games, but now they've won 2 in a row, and they've been doing it with defense. They've held the opposition to 14 points or fewer in each of their last 2 wins. Sean Lee, their best defensive player, is now back in the fold. That is huge for this Cowboys defense. This week, they'll be facing an Oakland offense that has really been struggling. This Raiders offense, they were so good in 2016, but they have really taken a step back this season. Not sure what exactly is wrong with Derek Carr. Maybe he's more injured than he's letting on. Maybe he's just lost his confidence. Certainly, the offensive line has had trouble protecting him, but Carr has not been the same player this season. The Oakland offense averaging just 17 points per game in their last 4 contests. Now, the Raiders defense still playing hard, and they're facing a Dallas offense here that has not been the same since losing Ezekiel Elliott. So look, I think this is going to be somewhat of a low-scoring game. I think 45.5 might be a bit high for the total. I'm looking at the under in this one. There you have it, folks. Those are my thoughts for Week 15 of this NFL season. I wish you best luck no matter what you decide to do this week, just so long as your interests don't conflict with my interests. For BetSafe, I'm John Arnett.